today's news, the BVI Electricity Corporation inks one-year contract nearing $159 million with SOL St Lucia for petroleum products and services. And the House of Assembly Standing Orders gives the Speaker authority to reject a notice of absence from a member. It's a nuisance. Fraser on Pockwood Pond incinerator open burning. And Cindy speaks about election uncertainty in the BVI. But these and more stories when 284 News return.
Freeze. Choose your mix. Choose your flavor.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Well, welcome viewers to the Tuesday, November 8th edition of 284 News. I am Kamal Haynes, bringing you the latest out of the British Virgin Islands. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We're leading today's newscast. Well, the BVI Electricity Corporation has inked a multi-million-dollar contract nearing $159 million with the regional petroleum company, SOL St Lucia Limited, to replace Delta Petroleum as the territory's main provider of number 2 diesel for the production of electricity. Well, as explained by BVIEC's chairperson, Mrs. Rosemary Flats, in addition to the fuel supply contract, SOL St Lucia Limited has also secured other contracts with the corporation inked that same day for necessary services at the Henry Wilfred Smith Power Station at Pockwood Pond and the Anegada Power Station.
Today we are signing contracts with SOL for number 2 diesel fuel for the Henry Wilfred Smith Power Station and the Anegada Power Station. We are also signing contracts for lubricating oil for the Henry Wilfred Smith Power Station and the removal of waste oil and slops, all for a period of just 1 year. These contracts are critical to the operations of the organization and to ensure that we have a steady supply of petroleum products necessary to provide a steady supply of electricity to the residents of the Virgin Islands.
While the new deal with SOL St Lucia comes in the wake of previous agreements with Delta Petroleum being ended prematurely due to Delta being unable to meet the demands of the existing agreement, or being the only other petroleum company with significant capacity to store fuel in the British Virgin Islands, SOL St Lucia positions itself to replace Delta by submitting bids to the BVIEC after a tender was advertised locally. Well, the bid was received by BVIEC in May in the amounts as follows: $156.2 million for the supply of fuel to the Henry Wilfred Smith Power Station, $1.9 million for the supply of fuel to the Anegada Power Station, and $856,000 for the supply of lubricating oil. The Flat said that the physical presence of the awardee within the BVI was imperative to ensure that ease and reliability were considered for this important utility, as a receipt of fuel from outside sources could face delays or fall victim to inclement weather. Well, General Manager of SOL St Lucia, Rufino Lane, took the occasion for the contract signing to pledge the company's dedication to consistency in its duty to supply the BVI.
We confirm our commitment to continue supplying the corporation and the BVI with all its requirements for diesel, lubricants, and also the removal of waste oil and slops. We recognize and accept the obligations that come with these contracts, and we wish to assure the corporation and to the BVI community that we will deliver.
Well, the contract with SOL St Lucia will only be active for the period of a single year and will expire on August 31st, 2023. While due to its short duration, the obligations which it fulfills will go out for tender again in January 2023. Well, moving on, viewers, where the standing orders of the House of Assembly gives the Speaker of the House the authority to accept or decline a notice of absence. Well, this was confirmed by the former Speaker of the House of Assembly, Ms. Ingrid Moses-Catliffe, in an exclusive interview with 284 News. Well, the relevance of the question posed to the former Speaker stems from a recent statement made by former Deputy Premier Dr. Pickering, who publicly stated during a recent meeting on Virgin Gorda that the Speaker has no authority to revoke a notice of absence from an elected House of Assembly member. While he was referring to the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Corinne George Massicott, who rejected the former Premier Andrew Foy's notice of absence for all future sittings back in July 2022. Well, contrary to the public statements, Ms. Moses-Catliffe pointed to Section 84(2) of the House of Assembly Standing Orders, which she said gives any Speaker of the House the authority to use their discretion to accept or reject notices of absence.
It specifically says, a member of the House shall vacate his seat if the member in any one session is absent from the House for more than 3 consecutive sittings without the written leave of the Speaker. This section is absolute. This section also gives the Speaker a level of discretion as to whether or not the circumstances require or are justified in her giving written leave. And I think she indicated as such several sittings back, as I alluded to earlier, where based on the present circumstances relating to the member in question, that written leave would not be given. So that this empowers the Speaker. She's just following what the standing orders actually said that the members are subscribed to.
So in other words, the standing orders specifically speaks to her level of authority and discretion when it comes to rather accepting notices or rejecting notices.
Correct. And based on the circumstances presented by the member as it relates to his leave, whether or not you're sick or whatever the circumstances with me, she will make a determination, and which she has in relation to this specific member.
Well, Ms. Moses-Catliffe, who is also an attorney at law, spoke on the respective legal avenues which would result in the House of Assembly member having to vacate his or her seat. She said Section 67(3) of the BVI's Constitution and the House of Assembly Standing Orders are at least 2 of the critical documents that addresses the subject matter.
As former Speaker of the House of Assembly, the rules of the House are governed by the Standing Orders of the House of Assembly, the Virgin Islands Constitution Order, the rules and procedures of the House of Assembly, and the Erskine parliamentary practice. So as it relates to the legal avenues available to remove an elected official of the House, we first go to the Constitution. The Constitution, Section 67(3), lists a number of ways that a person can no longer be qualified to sit in the House of Assembly, one of which is resignation. But 2, which is the important one here, it refers, as it relates to vacating a seat, it refers you directly to the standing orders. And I will read for the audience 67(3), the one that specifically speaks to that. 67(3) says, an elected member of the House of Assembly shall also vacate his or her seat in the House if he or she resigns it by signing under his or her hand address to the Speaker, and B, if he or she is absent from the sittings of the House for such period and in such circumstances as may be prescribed in the standing orders of the House. So the Constitution refers you to the standing orders. And when we go to the standing orders of the House of Assembly, it specifically states under Section 84(2), which deals with absence of members, a member of the House shall vacate his seat if the member in any one session is absent from the House for more than 3 consecutive sittings without the written leave of the Speaker. So there lies the remedy in which we deal with absences from the House of Assembly.
Well, Moses Catliffe also spoke specifically on the legislation that addresses former Premier Foy's present circumstance, which will likely result in him having to vacate his 1st district seat at the end of the next House of Assembly sitting.
Failing the resignation of Andrew Foy, then it falls on Section 84(2). I think several sittings back, the current Speaker of the House indicated to the public and to the House of Assembly where she was no longer going to give written leave of absence to the member, which means then that based on what the standing orders actually say, for more than 3 consecutive sittings. Now, that is not 3 sittings, that's 3 or more. So on the 4th sitting, once he is absent without written leave of the Speaker, and she has given indication that she will not be given leave based on the current circumstances that he is now faced with. So at that point, once that happens, then the seat is actually vacated.
Well, up next, viewers, it's a nuisance. Fraser on Pockwood Pond incinerator, open burning, and Cindy speaks about election uncertainty in the BVI. But these are more stories after a word from our sponsors.
Introducing a show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. It doesn't always involve suits and bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons. I'm taking you outside in the field to share the journey of some of the BVI's the best and brightest men. From East End to West End, Virgin Gorda to Joss Van Dyke, not forgetting Anigada. Our Virgin Islands gentlemen are doing the damn thing. We are the movers and shakers of this generation. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman. Season 4 by yours truly, Ron Grant. Raising a generation of greatness. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. on 284 Media.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up, start the day. Maybe it's sheer grit. Maybe it's your ethics. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. We all have our reasons, and for Republic Bank, that reason is you. Every little thing, every big thing. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you. We're here to help.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Well, welcome back, viewers. While leader of the opposition, Honorable Julian Fraser, has lamented the prevailing situation in his constituency, the 3rd District, as it relates to activities on the site of the Pockwood Pond incinerator. But while fielding questions during a community meeting in the 1st District, Fraser did not mince words to share his criticism of the site.
That incinerator has been out of operation for the last several months, years, who knows. Every time you ask a question, you get a different answer regarding exactly what's going on there. And the open burning, you said that the air is best when there's no activities at the incinerator, naturally, because it's a nuisance.
Well, as it stands, Fraser believes that the people need to be more critical of prevailing waste management issues, which could have health implications.
Things are the things that need to be spoken about day in and day out. The governments can do better. No government should be re-elected to office with a sewage treatment plant at Bird Point that has been out of commission since the hurricane. I mean, give me a break. An incinerator that's non-functional. These are the things that you should talk about. People contract all kinds of disease because of these things. We have people in this territory who prefer to speak about the things that are juicy and decide to leave the things that are important out.
Fraser explained that his frustrations with the site are in no way targeted at the persons employed there, as they themselves are simply doing their jobs and cannot be blamed for the state of the facility.
I want to make it clear that I am a critic of the incinerator. It's in my district. I know it seems to be impacting the people of the 4th district more than it impacts the people. Well, Mr. Brown is here, so I shouldn't be saying this. But I am a critic of the incinerator. And I want to preface any statement I make about the incinerator by saying that any statement I make regarding the incinerator is in no way an indictment of the people that work at the incinerator. Those people are being placed in a situation where their hands are tied behind their backs and they're asked to execute. They have no choice but to do what they can do in the best case scenario. And I sympathize with them. I feel for them.
Well, Fraser stressed that members of the public should hold public officials accountable to their promises to fix certain issues, and said that in the event that these promises are not realized, those at fault ought not to be welcomed to remain in office. Well, moving on, viewers, where social commentator Cindy Roseanne believes that as it currently stands, the uncertainties surrounding whether or not the territory will host a general election as it is constitutionally due is a major factor affecting the number of candidacies and the level of campaign activity currently being seen. Roseanne told CARP Update that the current environment is uneasy, particularly as Virgin Islanders await the governor's next quarterly report.
As you probably can appreciate, I would consider the environment to be a little unstable at the moment. The sitting premier has said that there will be an election. The governor has said that there is no reason for there not to be an election. However, part of the recommendations of the COI, or the agreement that the unity government, which is our sitting government right now, the agreement that they've gone into with the UK, is that the governor would give a report, a quarterly report on the progress of the implementations of the Commission of Inquiry recommendations. However, the report that the governor put out maybe 2 weeks ago, that was the first quarterly report. It was a very negative report on the territory and on how the recommendations are going. We really don't know. We don't know what a second report from the governor is going to like. So yeah, as I said, the environment is unstable. We're not sure, to me, and that's my personal opinion based on all the developments and all that we're seeing. I think there's no safe to say, yes, we will have an election.
Roseanne went on to explain the recent political instability in the United Kingdom has also been a factor, given frequent change in hands of the overseas territory portfolio, as well as the looming possibility that the UK could still suspend the BVI's constitution before an election can be held. Well, notwithstanding this, she believes that the people of the Virgin Islands are certainly ready to work the political muscle of the territory, evident from a growing show of support for independent candidates.
Well, right now, the BVI, we face in a really stagnant space right now economically. Our financial services is still operating. It's not, too bad. We're still top in that. Our tourism is definitely struggling. We have a lot of infrastructural issues that is facing us. But what is going to take since in the upcoming elections is the COI recommendations and continuing to see those through, because that's a 2-year process. And I think it'll take a bit longer than that. Our good governance legislations and so forth, those that would take centerfold in a new government coming in, and the people expecting to hear those types of things on the campaign and how those would be initiated and what they would do to usher in better governance and to carve out a road to further self-determination for the territory. I think those are the things that would take center stage.
Well, up next, viewers, I have the necessary experience and the knowledge to assist the BVI, says Dr. Pickering, and permits now required to enter or exit the BVI with endangered species of wild fauna or flora. While we get to those stories, when 284 News returns.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. protocol.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
You value traditions. Today. You value music. You value education. Family. I love you. Service.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
Well, welcome back, viewers. Well, former Deputy Premier Dr. Pickering is of the opinion that he is the best suited for the job in assisting the BVI out of its present issues with his more than 20 years worth of experience in politics. Well, Dr. Pickering made this statement recently as he attempted to explain to a number of residents why he decided to re-enter the political arena as a territorial at-large candidate in the upcoming general election.
We have problems. I will be the first to admit that we have problems because I have been around the political arena for over 20-something years and I was an elected representative. But hear me clearly. There are people who have said that I was in politics for 20 years and I should go sit down, because give somebody else a chance. But it is those exactly 20 years that I spent in the House of Assembly is why I'm here this evening. Because I have the necessary experience and the knowledge. I have traveled far and wide representing this country, and I understand the bigger issues that are facing this country. So contrary to what people might be saying about those 20 years are exactly what this country needs now. This country needs a couple of men and women, along with some of the younger people who are around right now, to bring the necessary knowledge and experience so that we can work together to help bring this country where it needs to be.
Well, Dr. Pickering also revealed why he opted to run as an at-large candidate as opposed to a district representative in the upcoming election. He said as an at-large representative, he will be able to touch more areas across the territory, something he says is more needed now than ever before.
28th of April put this country in a completely different spin. And I am sure every one of you will agree that since the 28th of April, our country has been, and we don't know, and we question, and we ask ourselves, where are we going, how are we going to move this forward, etc., etc., etc. But after 28th of April, and I had to rethink where I am, and people keep telling me to suggest to me I should consider running at large because I'm somebody who have a good understanding of the issues that affect us internationally. And I've done that and I've thought about it. And so I said to myself, with the knowledge and experience that I've had over the years, I think I can better contribute to my country at this point in time if I run at large.
While the former 7th District Representative also disclosed that he will not be running as an independent candidate in the upcoming election, or while not revealing his intended political party of choice, Dr. Pickering did take a jab at the existing parties, stating that they are not working with the interests of the people at the forefront.
And I think the reason why I'm here, I think that we have arrived at a place where we need more independent thinking people. I'm not going to run as an independent. Let me make that clear. I'm stupid enough to think that I could do nothing by myself. I'm not that stupid. But I believe that there is a group of us who will eventually get together, who are independent-minded, not tied to the political party and trying to do what the political party, because it's clear that they're not working for us at this point in time. We are in a new time. There's time for a new paradigm. We have imported all kind of other ideologies from other places that have not necessarily worked for us.
Well, Dr. Pickering last contested for a political seat in the BVI in 2019 general election under the National Democratic Party, where he lost his seat to the now Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalio Wheatley. Well, moving on to our final story, viewers, where persons who intend to travel into or exit the BVI with endangered species of wild fauna or flora and their byproducts are now required to apply for a permit to lawfully do so. Well, this was confirmed in a media release from the Ministry of Natural Resources and Labour, which said the decision follows the new requirements called for under the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, also referred to as CITES, in the Virgin Islands, which came into force on October 27, 2022. But Deputy Secretary in the Ministry of Natural Resources and Labour, Mr. Mervyn Hastings, spoke on the new requirement. But he said, and I quote, "It is very important that people are aware that CITES permits are required to enter into other countries with animals, plants, or their byproducts that are listed under CITES. Well, confiscations can and will happen, and even arrests. Well, international wildlife trade, both legal and illegal, has grown dramatically and is estimated to be $1 billion industry. But the CITES permitting system is to ensure that international trade in listed species is sustainable, legal, and traceable. For popular items leaving and entering the BVI that requires CITES permits include, by or not limited to, conch meat, conch shells, conch products, including jewelry, pearls, etc., corals and coral products, pet snakes, pet birds, orchids," he added. Well, CITES is an international agreement between governments with the aim of ensuring that international trade in specimens of wild animals and plants does not threaten the survival of the species. But the BVI became a party to CITES on August 2, 1976, as a United Kingdom overseas territory. With the passing of the new legislation, the BVI can now be considered for promotion to Category 1 status for its harmonized national legislation. But the release also provided details on how persons can apply for permits through the Ministry of Natural Resources and Labour. Well, the document stated, and I quote, "Persons wishing to apply for a CITES permit may contact the ministry via telephone at 468-2147, by email at nrl@gov.vg, or by visiting the ministry on the 3rd floor of the Pussers warehouse in Lower Estate behind the Elmerstown High School," the release stated. Well, viewers, that's it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for news updates at 284media.com and like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Kamal Haynes, and I will see you again tomorrow. Have a safe and enjoyable evening. Bye-bye.
Freeze. Choose your mix. Choose your flavor.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284 Media.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What do you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What do you really? Hey, this ain't like you, you know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out that trouble me.
Wow. What's your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I hustle. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.